my oldest child works at a bookstore at Barnes & Noble, and so I asked, if you saw this without the title, what would be your first instinct about it? And they looked at it and said, romance novel. My whole degree, everything I've ever studied is in visual communications. I'm a very visual thinker, and so I was like, what's the image that I want Grieving Awake to be? And I went right back to that feeling of, in the beginning, I describe it as feeling like waves. Some were trickles and some were tsunamis that would just wipe you and take you deep. Adding my tears to the gallons of tears, it felt like being underwater, but if you look up, you can see the light.
Hello, sunshine. Welcome to Be Visible with Veronica, the podcast where bold conversations and soul-aligned strategy help you awaken your most powerful self. I'm your host, Veronica Bahn. Get ready to stop dimming your light, own your magic, and finally be so visible you can't be ignored. Let's get visible. Welcome back to Be Visible with Veronica. Last week's episode with Patsy James is one you really need to go back and listen to. Not only does she share her entrepreneurial journey and her story of how she created her Patsy James company, but it was all around her releasing 130 pounds. Her story is profound, it's emotional, and it's worth listening to. Today's episode is with Joya Sosnowski. Last year we had her on at exactly this time. She has gone through a year of having an after-death communication with her son Weston, and we are going to be talking to her about that and her new book, her Amazon best-selling book, Grieving Awake. But now, a word from our sponsor. This episode of Be Visible with Veronica is sponsored by Valley Remodeling. If you've been dreaming about transforming your kitchen or bathroom, Connie Bunyard and her team are known for creating beautiful spaces while making the remodeling experience feel organized, personal, and enjoyable from start to finish. With more than 260 five-star Google reviews, Valley Remodeling has earned the trust of homeowners throughout the Valley. Learn more at valleyremodelingaz.com. Welcome back. Joya Sosnowski is an award-winning author, an Amazon bestseller, a sound healer, a minister, a dear friend of mine, and a woman who had a profound moment of awakening during her grief journey while she was having after-death communication with her beautiful 18-year-old son, Weston. Joya, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Veronica. I'm so honored that you asked me to come back again this year. Thank you.
Well, the timing is amazing. And last year at this time, we were interviewing you prior to you competing in America's Greatest Speaker competition.
Yeah.
And you won.
I did. I won first place. Yes.
And we have celebrated you this whole last year.
Yeah.
Before we get into the book and what it meant to you to write it, let's talk about what that meant to you, because that was only
6 months.
6 months.
6 months.
After the death of your beautiful 18-year-old son, Weston.
Yeah, I really debated whether or not I should do it, but I felt that prompting from Spirit to do it because I had a very important message to share, and it was messages that was coming through Weston, and it took me a long time to really, even though I've always had that ability and have had people drop into me with messages for loved ones who were still living, when it came to my own experience of it, I really didn't trust it. And so he started teaching me some really important lessons about self-trust, and that's what my talk was about. And I felt the importance of this reframe of trust that he gave me in doubt, that I was like, okay, if this helps me with what I'm going through, this will help other women too, to reframe the understanding of trust and doubt.
Well, I know one of the songs you played, and it might have been your walk-up, was Trustful.
Yes, it was my song, Walking Up.
And that whole experience watching you compete in that space after, and it, I don't think for you, and I believe this is also why you won the competition. It wasn't a competition for you.
No.
It was a message that you were called to share.
Yes.
And no matter what you were going through, the tears, the heartache, the dark night of your soul, all women were sitting there wondering, how are you even talking to us right now and showing up in this space in these rooms?
Yeah.
And you would say to me, because Weston's calling me to do it, and I have to for him. I have to for him. I have to for him.
Yep.
And last year we were in a different studio setting, as
this is
everybody
beautiful.
can see. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm just loving this. It is brand new, so make sure you drop in the comments what you think. I would love to know. But we are in this. This is the first episode of our new space.
Oh, I'm so honored. I walked in and I said, "Wow, it's so beautiful in here." Yeah.
Thank you. So many ways to honor our relationship and what we've gone through together as friends over the last, 7 years, probably.
Yeah. And you're actually in the book. I don't mention you by name, but I say like one of the instantly I had a friend drop over and just sit with me and not say anything and just cry with me. And I said, only a person who's been through grief themselves knows to do that.
Well, this is the book, Grieving Awake, and you can purchase it on Amazon. And it is one, I know you went through many iterations of a cover.
I did, yes.
What helped you to land on this? Because I think there's some budding authors out there, people listening and watching on YouTube, wondering, how do you choose? Because every one you sent our mastermind was better than the
Beautiful.
next and beautiful, and we saw things in it. We each were like really loving what you were creating, but then this one came to be.
I just wasn't feeling like it was 100% what I wanted. Like, you know, when you have that feeling that you'll know it when you see it, you'll know it when it happens. You don't know what it is, but you know it when you'll know it. And it was like that. And my oldest child works at a bookstore at Barnes & Noble. And so I asked, what do you think of this book cover? The last one that I had finally decided on. And I said, if you saw this without the title, what would be your first instinct about it? And they looked at it and said, romance novel. And I was like, oh, that is not the message. And so I sat in meditation about it and I said, okay, what? And my whole degree, everything I've ever studied is in visual communications. I'm a very visual thinker. And so I was like, what's the image that I want Grieving Awake to be? And I went right back to that feeling of, in the beginning, I describe it as feeling like waves would just come, waves of grief. And I would say some were trickles and some were tsunamis that would just wipe you and take you deep. But I knew that if I would just look up and pray and be present and express how I felt, adding my tears to the gallons of tears, it felt like being underwater, but if you look up, you can see the light. And so that's really what the cover feeling represents, is that being underwater, and if you look up, you can see the light. And I didn't want it to be dark and murky water, even though, yes, there are times that grief feels like that. But it's also this profound understanding I've come to have with grief, and the power that grief actually is and what it does to us is not just, it's not just this profound sadness. It has a profound power, as powerful as love, to take us deep into ourselves, and that we grieve not only I found myself grieving not only the person that I lost, that I loved, that is a part of my soul, but also I found myself having all this old grief come up that I hadn't dealt with. And it just kept going back and bringing it back up and back and bringing it back
like
up.
a wave.
Like a wave.
That and so as you share that, I can totally see, and I know there were times I've been in the ocean or in the swimming pool, and I'm laying at the bottom, well, not the bottom of the ocean, but like
I know what you mean.
Just under the surface, floating, and when you look up through the waves, you can see the light, and that's what this feels like.
Yeah, thank you.
That's what this feels like. It's beautiful. I have not had a chance to read it yet. What did it feel like for you to hit Amazon bestseller? In 3 categories, correct?
4 now.
4.
4.
Wow.
Very humbling. It's just, again, the power of community, the power of love and people who support you, and the power of friendships, and the and how we all support one another, and having people really not only buy the book, but now receiving so many messages from people that have read the book, who are sharing the book. Someone who wants to order copies for every client she has, because she's like, I'm reading your book and I'm realizing this is why my clients are stuck. They have unresolved grief. And I'm like,
Wow.
yes, that's the deeper message in there. Is like,
I have
it's
chills, Joya.
yeah, it's deep, deep work. Yeah, it's deep work.
How did you know that you were receiving this communication from Weston?
Well, the first night, when he passed, I woke up and I just knew. I knew he wasn't here. Even though, and then I'm a mindfulness trainer, and so I'm like, stop saying things to yourself that you don't know are true. You don't need to flood yourself with cortisol before you know for sure this is true. But I knew, and the next night, within 24 hours, I could feel his confusion, like he didn't know, and he was panicking, and like his soul, I could feel his soul energy, and it was really freaking me out. And so I went into prayer, constant prayer and meditation, and had tons of people praying for him and for us. And so the next night, I still hadn't slept. It'd been past the 24-hour mark, and so I didn't know what to do. And I just got up. I kept waiting for it to be over. I kept waiting to wake up. Like this is not happening. Like that feeling of that surreal feeling of like, this is not real.
Well, the piece for me that I remember the most is you were on the road heading the direction you knew he was traveling.
Yes.
Even before you knew for sure something had occurred.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, I think there's something moms know.
There is something moms know. Yeah. I mean, we're intimately connected.
You were in the car heading on the path he was coming home on.
Yes, I was going to him. I knew where he was because he shared his location with me when he drove, so I know the exact spot that he left his body. I know right where he was. Yeah, I still haven't gotten there. I can't.
I don't know that I.
Yeah.
That will.
I know that I need to eventually, because I can feel that is stuck in my nervous system. And so I know that I need to do that and face that eventually. And my mom lives there in that town. And so I tried to do it once, and I couldn't. The anxiety was just overwhelmed me and brought me right back. And I will do it, but it's not something I'll do alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you need, I'll be right there with you.
Thank you. But that next night when I was sitting at my altar was when the first time I had a communication with him, and I was just crying and praying, and it's all in my book. And I felt my energy, my consciousness, like leave my body. And I was suddenly viewing the world as if I were in outer space. He wasn't with me, but I could feel his energy. I could feel his energy like inside of my being. And I felt like this feeling of being proud and honored and reverence and awe and wonder, like all these feelings were stirring up inside of me. And then this thought popped into me, and it was him, and it said, wow, Mom, I had no idea what you were up to. And I could see all these lights, white lights shooting up all over the planet, and I somehow knew those were prayers. And then, boom, I was like back in my body, and it was like just for a split second when I opened my eyes, it was almost like reality had to start up again. Like if it's like back into the motion of being on Earth. It was the strangest feeling. And like I said, I've had experiences like that before, but when it came to my own experience with him, I just thought, I'm just a grieving mother, and I'm just making things up. This isn't really true. And, and he would always tell me, this is true. You just have to trust yourself. You have to trust your own experience. And the deeper thing that I realized, and I put in that book too, is because of the way that I grew up with so much trauma. And that's why I did so much trauma work in my life, was to heal myself and then to share that with other people. Was that I realized that I've always been a seeker, like I'm looking for something, still looking for something. And my journal, like right before he passed, is still full of it, that I'm like, why can't I open whatever this is in my heart? Why won't this open? This thing in me, I just feel like there's this block. And grief broke my heart wide open. And I realized that what I was always looking for, I found through Grieving Awake. Yeah, it took me down into the deepest places inside of myself until there was nothing left but this little spark of light. And I remember just going, what's that? What is that? And I was like, and then I touched it. And Veronica, when I touched it, everything changed. And I was like, this is what we're searching for. And I realized, I'm like, this is the truest part of ourself, our truest nature, that every single human being, without exception, because we want to belong and we need to fit in with our tribe and we need to fit in with our family. And they're always the ones who are trying to like, calm down, be quiet, don't do this, don't do that. That we judge that part of us as being what's wrong with us. It's not that they did it, we did it. We judged it, we shut it down. And we start living from a false identity. And that's how we create this conditioned self. And so some of us have way more conditioning than others, but all of us have it. And when I found that spark of aliveness in me, this truest part of myself, well, you better believe it took me a long time to trust it and befriend it.
Well, tell me, I just have to hold your hand. Come here. I know that you had moments where he made you laugh.
Yes. Yes.
And moments where he made you cry.
Oh, yeah.
And moments that might have scared you.
Yes. Yes.
Which one do you want to talk about first?
Gosh. Let's save the humor for last because he was really funny and he always made me laugh.
I know he was.
Yeah. Yeah, but definitely make me cry with just the love and the wonder and the message that he shares from the other side is always consistent about how much God loves us, how much we are loved, how much everything's all one thing. And it took me forever to understand that concept. And he explained it to me in a way that I was like, I get it now.
And it's in here. It's in the book.
No, because it happened after I wrote the book.
Gosh.
Yes, but I'm happy to share it if you want.
Yes, please, because there's listeners here. And I know this is a show that specifically talks about women entrepreneurs. And you were on an entrepreneurial journey. You were getting ready to take women on retreats. You had this whole plan.
I had just signed a massive new lease studio. Like my lease went up, way more expensive. Yeah.
And this was a derailment.
Completely. Yeah.
And yet you found a way to grieve awake and come out on the other side. And so there is a through line here because you found a way to keep shining that light. You found that spark in you where there was probably a lot of days you woke up saying, I don't need to be here anymore.
There were a few. Yeah, there were a few. When I was like, I just can't do this.
I'm just going to go be with him.
But I have another child. And,
yes, you do.
I know that.
And you have a husband.
And I have a husband, and they need me. They need me here. Even if it's just adjacent, knowing I'm in the next room, they need me here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. So let's talk about the moment that you were afraid with Weston. Like he shared something with you that scared you.
Truths about myself that I didn't want to face, that I was like, because he could see it all, right? So he could see everything. And when he was in his body, he was always the kind of person that would call me on my crap, which I loved. And like one time I was like projecting a bunch of stuff and shouting at him. And I remember he just started laughing. He's like, why are you yelling at me? And then I started laughing. He goes, Mom, honestly, this sounds like a you problem. And I was like, oh, yeah, you know what? This is a me problem. You're absolutely right. This is a me problem. And so he's definitely pointed out one of the ones that really made me sob. There's been a few, but one of them was when I was just like, I was crying and I was saying, I'm not worthy of this. I don't want to cry. I want to ruin my pretty makeup. And he said, you know, Mom, that unworthiness, that's ego too. Wow. Yeah. He's like, ego doesn't just mean that you're puffing yourself up. It also means that you're tearing yourself down.
Oh my gosh.
It blew me away. Yeah. And I was like, oh, the ego, when it's done puffing you up and you're not puffing yourself up anymore, it can often turn on you. And that's what it was doing. And he told me that's what it was. And it really helped me to go into deeper healing around those worthiness issues that I had, that I was facing. Yeah.
So an aha moment as you're beginning to understand the Grieving Awake process, when you realized because I know you journal whenever he comes in and talks to you and you're having this channeling experience, you're hearing him and having that communication with him. When did you know it was a book that needed to go out there?
Oh, he told me immediately.
Oh,
He's
okay.
like, we're writing a book. And I was like, oh, I don't want to write a book. And he said, you're going to write a book. It's all in these journals. It's going to be a book. And yeah, I journaled incessantly. And I know because like grief breaks you wide open, right? Like the veil is thin and you're so open. There's so much research behind this also, by the way. You know me, I'm always like, how is this working? What's happening?
You need to understand the science and the spiritual, mystical piece that you can't tangibly, that you have to have faith around. But you love to also tie the science in to prove that what you're feeling is real and profoundly tangible, even though it doesn't feel like it.
Oh, and it opened up a whole world of research of consciousness research that I wasn't even aware of about after-death communications and near-death experiences, and proof now, like there's so much evidence also about continuing bonds, which shows that instead of getting over it or moving on and taking all their pictures down, no, establish a new relationship with them. And that people who do that have better grieving experiences than people who try to just shut it all down. There's a book this thick about it by researchers.
So what you're saying is leave the pictures of the dearly departed up.
Yeah.
Keep things around, maybe not a closet full of clothes. At some point you might want to.
Entirely up to you.
But it's a process, right?
Yeah, and rituals for them, like not forgetting their birthdays and noticing and acknowledging that there's an empty seat at the table at holidays. And instead of ignoring it and pretending like it's not happening, find a way to honor it.
My cousin who lost her son, he was 19, or 2019, I think he was 20. It was October and holidays were right around the corner. And I remember she told me how much it hurt when people would address a card to 3 of them and not 4 of them.
Yes.
Right? 3 names.
Yes.
Not 4 names. And she said, I couldn't even open the card because it was deleting. And so people don't know how to grieve with somebody who's grieving. They don't know how to act. They don't know what to say.
And I can't even imagine them sitting there filling out that card and not knowing what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
She has been so helpful in the family grief of sharing that he's still with us and talking about Trevor and being in this space with him and how he shows up and sending us pictures on her phone of orbs and lights and like you've done with Weston.
Yes.
And like, how can this be? And Veronica, I'm showing this to you. I mean, literally you sent me a video of the clouds turning into a heart.
Yes.
And you and I are watching this cloud and it's like morphing into looking like somebody's walking on the cloud. I mean,
it blew me away.
It blew me away.
Yeah.
Because I'm asking you if it's AI, and you're like, this isn't AI. This is me holding my phone up to the clouds. The matrix we live in. That's what that is. I don't know. But I love that you took this incredibly difficult, hardest thing we go through as a human being. And you allowed your story to change the grieving process.
That is my mission.
With the world.
That's my mission. Yeah. That's my mission, is to change grief and to normalize grief and to not, if you say the word grief to somebody, they instantly think somebody died. But that's not what grief means at all. And I describe grief now as being the bomb that goes off in your life when everything changes. Because it's like one day everything's this way, the next day it's not. And it doesn't matter if it's your spouse decides that they're going to walk out on you after 23 years of marriage, or the career you had you are suddenly let go from, or you're perfectly healthy and you start feeling really crappy and you go to the doctor and you get a diagnosis, or your house burns down, or anything that is something like a major thing that disrupts your life.
You were living one way and then you wake up and now you're living a different way.
Yes. And then people don't know what to say, and they don't even know that it's grief. They don't label it as grief. They don't treat it like it's grief. And then they get that whole, like in our culture, especially in the Western society, we've all been taught how to change ourselves, right? It's like how to better your life, how to change your life. But none of us have been taught what to do when life changes us. And that is what I really want people to understand is there is a process. There are 10 things in that book that if you follow them, not just for when you're in loss, but if you want to really, truly change your life, if you follow them, it will change and transform your consciousness.
I love how this line at the very top on the back says, "The day my son died, I died with him." Tell me about that.
Exactly what we were just talking about, that it was the person that I was on February 16th no longer exists. The life I was living, the things I was thinking, the things I cared about, all of it has completely changed in one day. Yeah, in one day. So suddenly. And, and I'll hear people talking. I was at the dentist not too long ago and these women were talking about like life insurance and those kinds of things. And she was like, well, I don't think I need it yet because we're young and we have all this life ahead of us. And I'm just thinking like, you don't know that. I mean, I hope you do.
Right.
But you don't know that.
But there's truth to that.
Yeah.
It is naive to assume we have the next hour. What would it look like if we lived our life in the moment, not knowing that we have the next moment?
Yes.
Wouldn't?
Yes.
I know that I practice that as much as I can. How am I in the moment of the now?
Yes.
Not worried about the how or the future of the thing. You can plan for it, but if you get so busy always planning in the future,
you're never
or
here.
always living in the past,
Yeah.
you're never just in
Not
the
here.
moment of living this profoundly beautiful life we've been gifted.
Yes. And because it's all one thing, as Weston taught me, that when we can learn to stay very present like that, and if we can learn to do it without the masks of the ego and without all the fear and the worry and the, all the things that we do and how am I showing up and what are people thinking and all those worries that we
what
have.
are the people thinking thing?
Yeah.
That lives between my left ear and my right ear a lot. I've had to really work on that for myself.
Yeah, it's important. But if we can come out of that and come really present into this experience of love that lives inside of us and ask, how does love want me to show up right now? Then we become guided. And I will have crazy experiences now where I'll be like, see that? This thought will drop in. See that lady over there buying bananas? Yeah. Go over and tell her something very specific and so random. And I will do it. And like Betsy, our friend Betsy. So I'm texting her. She's leaving the conference and I usually write, okay, love you, see you soon. And I heard this voice say, no, say love you muchly. Something I never have said to anybody in my life. And I wrote, love you muchly.
Now, is this a Weston moment where he's like tapping into you or you're just hearing
spirit.
it?
It's just spirit,
okay.
right? It just drops in and it's like, nope, say love you muchly. And I'm like, okay, love you muchly. And she says, I've never heard anybody else say that ever before in my life. My dad used to say that to me all the time.
No.
Yes. So I have experiences like that now all the time, and because it's all one thing. And so the way that Weston explained it to me, if you want me to share it with your audience,
please, yes.
It's really amazing and I wish I would have brought some bubbles. So
That'll be part 3 down the road. What's the bubble story?
Well, you know how when you get messages from Spirit, they're simple. They're not complicated. The complicated comes from us. It doesn't come from Spirit. And so I was asking like, I wish I could just be with you all the time and feel you. And he's like, I'm right here. All you got to do is think about me and I'm right here because it's all one thing. And I was like, what does that even mean? And so I'm like, I don't understand that. What does that mean? And I got this visual and he said, imagine you're holding a tube of bubbles. Okay. And you take the wand and you dip it in the source and then you pull the wand out. And you've got the source now on the little wand. And now it needs breath to come to life. And so you give it some breath and you blow. And all those bubbles become little individual bubbles. But they're all one thing. Right? It's so profound and so simple. And then I got it. And I was like, I get it now.
I get it now.
Yes.
I always wondered, what does that mean exactly?
And now
are we all connected? Do we have a through line?
all connected.
Past, present, future. What does that mean? Now I will visually always know.
Yes.
It was given breath.
I've got goosebumps.
And there they go. And they're all one thing.
And you're your bubble, and I'm my bubble.
Different bubble experiences.
And the more in
some
tune,
are bigger, some are smaller.
Yes, some are popping sooner, some are big and popping longer and traveling farther. Some are joined together. Like
What?
it blew me away.
Gosh.
And when I had that realization and I got it, I was like, okay, so this is when we can learn to stay very present in ourselves without the story, and we can drop in. We received those messages. Go tell that woman with buying the bananas that it was something about her car, and I don't remember what it was. And she was just like, "How did you know that?" Like, I don't know this woman. Or Betsy, love you muchly. And like, I keep having these experiences now where it's just these little nudges, and it's because if you're open to it, you receive it. And I mean, look how much study is being done out about telepathy and
I mean, come
all these
on.
things.
All I do now is think about something and then it happens or shows up on my doorstep or I get
Yes.
the phone call or it's on my phone. I'm thinking,
Yes.
I don't even understand, but okay.
Yes.
Let's make sure that the thoughts we're thinking are not stinking thinking.
And thank goodness that we are in this body experience and that we don't bring it about instantly. It's almost like a spirit's like, are you sure that's what you want to create? Are you sure? Are you really sure? But now it's like, and then every time I receive it, I just say, thank you. Thank you for using me as a vessel and a vehicle to at least invite some mystery into somebody's life. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I know my mission is to breathe life and light into women, to share their story, to find their own light, and then light their own path for others to find. And I had a woman just text me right before our episode here, Joya, and she said, thank you for breathing hope and vision and light into my life. I totally understand what you were giving me now. And I believe in me as much as you believe in me.
Beautiful.
But you held that space for me until I got there.
And don't we all need that?
Yes.
We can't see ourselves. We're like self-blind. Almost like you can't smell yourself. You also can't see yourself.
Can't see the label inside the jar. You can't see your own eyebrows. We heard that last week.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I
so
know.
we need other people to be our mirrors. And you're such a beautiful mirror. And you've done that for me. I watch you do that for people all the time. It's just your natural soul gift that you bring light everywhere you go and into people's lives.
Thank you, Joya.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Share one thing. If there's somebody listening right now and they want to get Grieving Awake, or they're wondering, I wonder if I should order that book, or I want to connect with Joya, how do they do that? First, how do we connect with Joya?
You can find me at joyasosnowski.com. It's SOSNOWSKI.com or grievingawake.com. I've actually now forwarded it to my direct website. And
Love it.
yeah, this is my passion and my mission now. And I never imagined that it's always been about awakening, but I never imagined it would be through grief. Like, that really blew my mind.
And when you subscribe to this channel for Be Visible with Veronica, you'll also have the opportunity to look at the show notes, follow the transcripts, read, catch up on some of these places. But Joya has a YouTube channel as well.
I do. I restarted it. It's called Grieving Awake, YouTube and podcast. Yeah.
So thank you, Joya, for coming on a year later.
Yeah.
Crazy how it was a year later, almost to the day.
I know. Yeah.
So you can go back and listen to her story from a year ago. Go back to last August. I don't remember what episode number it was, but if I was guessing, every week, start on May 15th, June, July, August, 8, around 12 or 13.
Yeah, it was early.
It might have been 14.
Oh my gosh, that'll be amazing if it was.
I know, that would not have been.
That story is in my book.
So you heard her. Take a moment and go order Grieving Awake. Think of it as something you can also give to your loved ones for the holidays. And remember, grief doesn't have to be because you lost somebody. It could be because your life profoundly changed from one day to the next, very unexpectedly. Thank you for sharing in this story and today on the show with us about Weston's communication with you from the other side. And I can't wait to dive into it. I know I'm going to need some tissues, and that's okay. But I also think it's going to be one of those that has a lot of love in it, and it's going to have Oh, this picture of you. Oh,
Yes, my favorite picture of Weston and I on his 18th birthday.
I don't know if you can get a close-up in on that. Can you?
I said, let me hold you like a baby. And we were just cracking up because he was like 6 foot tall and 260 pounds.
Love that. Thank you, Weston, for
Yes.
sharing with your mama how to share this story with the world. Joya, I love you.
I love you.
I'm so blessed to have you in my life and
Same.
in my adventure. And I'm looking forward to see all the things that happen for you. I know you've been invited on some really great podcasts
I'm
and
excited.
shows to spread your message and have a global reach. And when you're ready to go back to that space where he left his body, you know you're calling me. Okay.
I will definitely call you.
I'm
yeah,
going
there's
there
a
with
few.
you.
Us 4 bubbles. I think of 4 little bubbles that are going to hop in the car and do it together. Yeah.
And we'll bring bubbles.
Oh, I love that idea.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll bring bubbles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Be Visible with Veronica. If today's episode sparked something in you, share it, tag me, and pass it on. Your presence has power, and the world is better when you let it be seen. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and keep showing up as the unstoppable force you were born to be. I'll see you next time.